everyone. Welcome back to Katarina's Garage. My name is Katarina Lloyd, and we are here with Stitch here, and we're actually talking about a little bit of an update video, but also of what what I've done and what is still wrong with the car, because there's a couple little things, and also something that we discovered when we when it was being worked on at my mechanic shop yesterday, because normally I do a majority of the work, but I didn't want to do it in this crap. You know, especially the steering rack, it was just going to be a pain in the ass. It was just so much quicker and easier to send it to him. It cost me more money, but so be it. You know, it's... Oh well, I'm broke for a bit, but that's fine. Luckily I get paid in a couple weeks, so nothing in the world. But yeah, anyways, we're going to talk about, okay, what's all happened to her in the past few days, and as well, what the new issues are. So, let's get into it. So, like I mentioned yesterday, I did get a new steering rack put in this thing, which honestly, it feels a lot different than the old one. I mean, obviously there's no more play in the steering anymore, but also, it's a lot heavier than the original rack was for the steering, and I really like the light steering, because literally I could just do this with my hand without any issues whatsoever. Just turn the wheel. It's not quite to way over assisted power steering from like an old Lincoln or something like that, but it's, you know, it was pretty close actually to that. And yeah, and now it's a lot heavier. It's closer to actually my dad's Magnum, which, as you can see, you might be able to see it in the background when we walk over to the trunk and stuff like that, because I did stuff inside the trunk too. And also I did stuff to this door and a couple other things. But yeah, so we got the steering rack installed, and I mean, I'm happy that I have no more play in the steering, because there's about 20-30 degrees of play within the steering, so you know, that was not safe. And as well, something that I thought needed to be replaced, I don't think did, but we got it replaced anyways, because upon further inspection that wasn't what was causing the squeal, is my power steering pump. Now, the power steering pump was original to the car from 1981, so it's not a bad thing that I replaced it. However, I could have saved a bunch of money and not replaced that. But that's okay. Not the end of the world. And I think there was only like 20 minutes of labor on that he charged me, so that was fine. Yeah, well anyways, let's take a look at also what was actually the cause of the squeal that I had. Because, well, you can see the new power steering pump, you know, we kept the original cap, so, you know, it keeps it looking a little more original, but obviously brand new part. And you can see how many new parts are to the hood of this thing. It's just, there's so many. Like, the only things I haven't replaced is the distributor, the fuel pump, and the coil. Everything else has pretty much been replaced at this point. And obviously a couple of the hoses are still original, but yeah, so I got that in there. And actually the issue with the squeal was with the alternator belt. Now, the thing is, belt's pretty much brand new. I got it back in the summertime, so, you know, no issues there. But, when I put it in, I put that in soon after, actually, I got back from my surgery, when I was able to walk a little bit. I was still really low energy, and I couldn't really function all that well. So, yeah, I did that, and then I guess I didn't tighten the belt all the way, but it really didn't come into fruition until a couple months ago, and I thought it was a power steering belt, because it was coming, it seemed like there was a noise coming from the power steering, but it turns out it wasn't. So, yeah, kind of annoying, but oh well. Napa actually gave me the wrong belt. I think they gave me a belt for a 302. This is obviously the inline 6, slightly smaller belt. And I couldn't actually, like, max it out. Like, the two guys that were there, because it was Brian, and I actually didn't catch the guy's name that was there. We honestly got along pretty good, though. One of Brian's really good friends, and, you know, I could be open and not have to censor myself very much, because I was kind of frustrated at the time. And, yeah, no, it was just a really good, sort of, fun talk that we had, and whatever else, just chatting about cars and stuff like that. And, well, yeah, it took Brian essentially pulling, not as hard as he can, but quite a bit of force back, and then it took this other guy tightening it back up again. So, like, I couldn't have done it myself. I would have had to get help from my dad. And to be honest, you shouldn't have to have help to put in an alternator, but because of that wrong belt is the reason why. So, not entirely my fault there. But, yeah, well, something else that is an issue right now that we discovered yesterday when taking this thing apart is, well, yeah, I'll show you. Is right down in there. Now you see the steering shaft. Okay, let's zoom in on it. And can you see right in that area that it's broken? Sorry, there's heat coming off the motor because I just had it running not that long ago, so I think that's screwing up my camera. But you can kind of see that's not right? I'm gonna go from this angle. Yeah, there you go. You can see it a lot better there. See? It's broken there. So, that is the steering shaft coupler, or otherwise known as a rag joint as well. And I have a new one on order, just waiting for Napa to get it in the next couple of days. Then it's going to go straight back to Brian's shop, and that's going to be put in. And hopefully we can reclock my steering wheel, because it's not exactly straight. But, yeah, well, another news as well, I, replaced a couple of seals on the car. So, we'll go to the trunk first, because the trunk might actually close if I close the door. As you can see, brand new trunk seal. Now, I would have caught this on camera, but I didn't know how long it was going to take me. And, yeah, looks really good, though. This is just from Rock Auto. It's not, honestly, pretty good quality. The only problem is how thick it is. And thick is not a bad thing. However, well, here, I'll just show you. Right? Okay, if I just let it drop from there, it doesn't close anymore, right? I actually have to physically put it down to get it closed. But as well, from Rock Auto, these kits, because this was the kits for the coupe, like the notch, right? There was the doors and the trunk. Now, as you can see, this is what I had to cut off for the trunk seal. So I'm curious if their trunk and their hatch seal are the same, because I don't know, that might be about the same length. I could be wrong on that. I could be way off, but that just seems like excessive length. I don't know, maybe it's for interchangeable with the Mark 7 or something too, because they have a pretty big trunk themselves. But yeah, because you'll see when I close this, I have to put a little bit of force into it so it actually closes. Because actually, the other day, I think this was Sunday, I was just going to get some A&W really quick, because A&W is just down the street. I just drive there, it's just easier. Yeah, I know it's lazy, but whatever. We've all done it, I'm sure. And yeah, well, turns out with that, and let me just get you situated here. I think that should be good. I don't go back. Tilt it up. There we go. Sorry. I'm running around here in this video. That's okay. And yeah, the trunk lid actually, and I wasn't sure what this noise was until after I thought about it for a moment. And it's like, oh, that was the trunk lid. Because just driving over there, there's quite a bit of bumps. Like, it's obviously not paved here, right? So it was just around the corner here, and all of a sudden I hear this loud thud, and I'm just like, what the hell was that? So, you know, I stopped the car, look around, and then realized, oh, the trunk lid wasn't quite closed. Like, that actually latched it doing that. But yeah, it's really rough over there. If you've seen, well, one of my point of view videos will have that, which I might be doing another one of those here soon. We'll see. Not too positive on that, but yeah, so that was a thing, and just gotta watch that trunk lid now. But as well, I'm thinking of installing a strut on that trunk lid. Well, not this trunk lid in particular, like this will be the test for it, but because this trunk lid is just, it's rusty, it's dented, it's just terrible. I'll just find another one down the road. And yeah, so I'll do that. And the spoiler will still be mounted because I do like the way it looks. once I get that rag joint replaced, because right now that's too dangerous to really be driving on the highway. Like, yeah, it would probably survive, but I'm not taking my chances with that. Because basically what the rag joint does there is it keeps the steering shaft from going out of angle, right? It keeps it from shaking this way or that way, or shaking at all. It just, nice and tight. Now, I'm pretty sure the one that I'm getting is another rubber one, but whatever. It's better if you use a steel one. However, what I could find in the area, because I was just trying to see if I could find it local rather than ordering online. Yeah, it's gonna be about 40 bucks, and that's fine. It's cheaper than the metal ones. Metal ones are like 80, so nothing in the world. But metal ones will last you longer, and apparently they feel better. But and they really don't break, so that's fine. It took that rubber one though. Let's see, 40 years to break, so not really too worried about that, right? This car, yeah, it's 40 years old this year, so pretty cool. But as well, something else that changed too. I didn't do both the doors with this, but I did replace the seal on this door as well. So that was pretty cool. And yeah, I was, it took me a bit. It took me a lot longer than the trunk seal, because trunk seal is pretty easy. You don't have to really remove anything besides there's a plug back there that you just have to unplug and then you move it out of the way. But yeah, well, anyways, I'll show you what I did, because with this new seal. And also, just listen to how it sounds, because you should be able to hear it from there, right? A lot more solid than it used to, because if you see my other videos, it did not sound like that. But and my car's a mess right now, I know. I'm gonna clean it here after this video, probably. And if we take a look inside, you can see the brand new seal. Right? All the way up and around. It's already a little dirty, but it is what it is. And now, if you're worried about that, that was actually my mistake in cutting. But that's okay. It's close enough, and it still keeps out, to my knowledge, it should keep out water and shit. So the water mostly comes in through the windows. So yeah, you can see how bad this seal is here, right? It's not great. And then if you look on, love that sound. And if you look here, right, there's a couple of nicks in this one too, so water just comes straight in through that, and even up here too. So yeah, like the passenger door is even worse, but passenger door is not even original to the car. I wish it was, so that I had matching door locks. I do have a door lock to put it in. I don't want to take the door apart. I hate taking the doors apart so much, and I've had them apart so many times, but it's just not my idea of fun, shall we say. But let's see. Other than that, there is something actually that I do want to mention to you guys. Here we go. Our weekly meets are going to be starting back up again. If any of you guys are interested, they're going to be here in Sundry. We have 2 different days, but hang on, let me just let him go by. Or actually, that's her to go by. That was the woman room. But anyways, and they're going to be at the Co-op Card Lock here in town, which is right behind the Tim Hortons here in Sundry, Alberta. They're gonna be every Friday. Like, we're starting our first one this Friday. Friday is at 7 o'clock. That's when they start. And the only thing that we ask is no excessive revving and no burnouts, because if you guys do a burnout, we get kicked out of there. We lose our spot. We still have one other spot, but that's not the point. We want to keep as many places excited about us coming than not. So yeah, and it's a much better spot than whenever we were doing it last year, because we were doing it at the Napa, and it's just, if you have a lowered car, it's not actually great for that parking lot. Really high curbs, so people were scraping and stuff like that, and it's really tight in there too. I realized that the one meet we had, I think we were at 15 or 16 cars, and we were just over full, and it just wasn't the best. So we are going to be doing them at a different spot this year. Like, we did 2 meets at the 1 or 2 meets. I think it was only 1 at the stadium here in town. But you know, with COVID, it's still a thing, obviously, and we do still have to be careful with COVID. You know, it is going to be encouraged to wear masks and stuff like that. I'm sure there'll be people that won't. I might not be wearing my mask all the time, but I'll have it on me. And yeah, it's just, you know, the horrible situation that we live in with COVID, right? It's annoying. But oh well, you know, we have to be safe though, and all that sort of stuff. Especially somebody like me, I'm high risk for COVID. If I got it, I'd end up in the ICU. It probably wouldn't be a pretty sight. I might actually die from it. So just with my health stuff and everything. Yeah. So as well, I do want to talk about something that hit the car world the other day. Now, this has been kind of in the works for a few years now, since 2018. Although obviously California has been trying to do this forever, but it finally hit federal in 2018. And it's just recently got headlines again because they've decided to change the ruling on some of their stuff. And basically, the EPA in the United States is wanting to ban performance parts, pretty much. And it doesn't matter if your car was initially designed for the street, they're actually saying that you cannot put on any emissions altering stuff, which is ridiculous because any performance part will affect emissions. Even a cold air intake will. You know, performance spark plugs, again, they can do that too. Obviously exhaust can, and you know, deleting emissions and whatnot. So yeah, they're trying to do that federally, and if that goes through, you're going to see a bunch of companies go under, and you're going to see a bunch of cars in the States be basically paperweights because they are heavily modified. And it's ridiculous. So there is a petition, and I'll see if I can find it. If you are an American resident, please sign it, because if you don't, this could heavily affect the car hobby so much. Even us in Canada, like, yeah, okay, we're not affected by the EPA stuff here. Especially here in Alberta, we don't even have emissions testing. You can delete emissions all you want. But if that goes through, parts availability for other countries, and like the thing is, companies such as Holley, such as, you know, Spectre, K&N, anybody that makes performance parts, anybody would be hit by this. So I will leave a link down in the description below to sign that, and hopefully that doesn't go through. And I know it's only a matter of time before something along those lines might happen down in the States, but still, it's just like, I didn't expect it this soon. And, you know, with all the bans that they're talking about in Europe for the sales of gasoline vehicles, it is a bit of a worrisome thing that might hit over here, and even in Canada too. Because, you know, I don't think it's going to happen, because our entire country relies on oil from here in Alberta, and as well, mostly from Alberta. There's some in Saskatchewan, some in BC, some out east as well. But yeah, majority of it comes from the oil sands here in Alberta. So yeah, please sign that. And again, there will be a link down in the description below. And as well, I do want to show my condolences to Sabine Schmitt, because she had passed away from cancer this morning. She was battling cancer, and at the age of 51, the queen of the Nurburgring is no longer with us. She had lapped the Nurburgring more times than anybody else ever. And that includes racing drivers that are like endurance drivers and stuff like that. Because she didn't just do the official races, she also went as an enthusiast too. And as a woman in the car hobby, she was one of those people that you just look up to. And actually, I'm tearing up a little bit talking about it, because she was definitely an inspiration for me. She appeared on Top Gear in a few episodes, and she had her own show called Fifth Gear, where some of the like with Tiff Needle and a couple other guys on there, and just, you know, my heartfelt condolences to her family and everybody else in the car world. So, yeah, anyways, I'm gonna end this video here. Thank you guys all so much for watching. You know, this is just a different type of video. Like, obviously it was an update video, but then with the other stuff too. Didn't expect to have this. I was tempted to do a solo video on that stuff, but, you know, I don't really do much for editing. I'm playing around with it a little bit right now, but this video won't be edited. Videos in the future might be, though, but, yeah. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Hope you're staying safe during COVID-19. Good luck with whatever you're working on, and as well, if you aren't following any of my other social medias, please do. There's Katarina's.garage on Instagram, and there is Katarina's Garage on Facebook as well. We're going to be doing some exciting stuff this summer, and, you know, like, I have a couple of things planned for some junkyard tours, because I know some of you have been asking for those, and I've really wanted to do some. I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet. Especially with COVID, it's been a little difficult to try and do that, but with the vaccines rolling out, it might get a little easier and stuff like that to do that. And as well, I'm potentially going to be working with a car show in St. Albert. I've been invited out to Rock in August in St. Albert. It lasts, I think it's a whole week. I've never been up there for it, so and they want me to do some videos for them there. So, you know, who knows? If everything works out, I'll be there. You'll see probably Stitch with me. I don't know if Lilo will be on the road by then, but Stitch will be the nice kind of showy car. You know, Lilo is just a nice car, but this will be the fun toy, right? So I guess it'll depend on how hot it is, because that has AC, this doesn't. And if you're looking for updates on that, it'll be a bit. So yeah, maybe this weekend, we'll see. But anyways, I'll chat to you all later. Okay, bye. Pikachu.